Oh, Doug Howie is here.
Okay,
Yes, Dick.
looks like
Yes,
Well,
Dick,
if
I
you're
am.
going to be here, I don't need to be here.
Okay,
Is that all right?
that's fine with me.
I'll sign off. I didn't know Doug was going to be here, so adios.
okay. I'd like to call to order the October 4th, 2021 Joint Animal Service Commission meeting. I'd like to start off with just every one of us introducing ourselves. And if it's okay, I'd like to use first names. Is that okay, everybody? Thumbs up?
Yep.
Okay. I'm Lisa Parsley, Olympia City Council, Chair of the Joint Animal Service Commission. Michael, popcorn it.
Hi, Michael Althauser, Tumwater City Council member representing the city of Tumwater on the commission, and I will kick it over to Cynthia.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Pratt, representing the City of Lacey, Deputy Mayor. Also, I am Vice Chair of JASCOM, and I am kicking it over to Carolina.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. It's been a day. Carolina Mejia, Thurston County Commissioner, and I'll popcorn it over to Doug.
With Doug Howie, representative from the Thurston County Humane Society. And I guess Shannon or Sarah are the ones that are next.
Shannon, do you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Shannon Kelly Fong. I'm the Assistant City Manager for the City of Lacey.
I'm Sarah Hawk, Executive Director of Joint Animal Services.
Thanks for putting up with that, you all. It's been a while since we did an introduction, just for those people who either are watching live or going back and watching the recording. I'd like to start with an approval of the agenda, please.
I'd like to set aside a couple minutes during the agenda to make an announcement, please. Sometime.
Okay. Would you why don't we go ahead and put the agenda moved and seconded, and then we can amend it.
Okay, I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay. And if I remember my Roberts rules, we need to amend it now. So why don't we put that in the beginning? Would that be okay, right after the consent agenda? Doug?
Fine with me. Thank you.
I need to have a motion on the amended amendment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any more discussions? All right, we're voting on the amendment to the agenda, not the agenda. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, now we're going to move a vote on the amended agenda. I hope I got that right, Shannon? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's move over to the approval of the consent agenda, which includes the meeting minutes for September 13th, the director's report, and the approval of September 2021 shelter statistics.
I move
Any
that we
motion?
approve the consent agenda.
Second the motion.
Any polls, comments? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we're going to go now to Doug's announcements, and then we'll go on to public comment.
You probably noted that Dick Blinn was in the meeting today. That's because I've resigned from the board of directors of the Humane Society. And so as a result, we'll no longer be able to represent the Humane Society for the down JASCOM. So this is my last meeting that I will be attending for JASCOM. And I think it looks like Dick is going to be the replacement. Dick Blinn will be the replacement.
Cynthia, I saw your hand to go up.
Well, I was going to ask is if Dick is going to be your.
I do not know. I sent him my resignation over the weekend, and they've been talking amongst themselves, I guess. But I don't know what's happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the same thing's going to happen with the spay neuter vouchers, because I've been the one delivering those. And so they'll have to get in touch with you about who's going to be the person who runs that again.
How long have you served JASCOM, Doug?
Since the last century.
Lots of time. Thank you for your service.
Yeah,
I
I was on the board starting in the mid 90s. And ever since then, I've been the rep for JASCOM.
And they got somebody to replace getting all those wonderful statistics that we get.
Well, I'm going to email you the spreadsheet that I built, the 24 years spreadsheet.
Thank you. And seriously, thank you for your service, Doug.
You're very welcome. I've enjoyed it. It's health issues. I have to cut back on all my my volunteer activities. So
Okay.
This is one that ends up going because I had to spend a lot of time on this one.
Okay. Well, thank you again. And your service is greatly appreciated. And I hope you chime in now and then for public comment and give us what for.
Every Monday, every first Monday of every month, I'll be watching for it.
Okay. Public comment. Did we have anyone sign up, Sarah?
I don't see anybody in the attendee list for public comment, and I did not receive any written public comment.
Okay. Do we have any staff presentations or reports?
Nope,
So we can move right on to our discussion items.
we sure can. Let me share my screen for you.
Thank you.
All right, can everybody see that okay? All right, so on the discussion items that we have tonight, the first we're going to start out with is the Animal Services Jurisdictional Assessments. You guys would have received individual emails with your denoted amount, except for Cynthia, because I just emailed Troy.
Oh, so I wondered why I didn't get it.
That's because I just emailed Troy. But I do have, we do have some updated numbers for you guys that are more finalized than what I originally sent. And so we're going to talk about that today. And we have two sets of numbers. The first set will be at current service levels for all jurisdictions. And the second set will be if the county chooses, votes, decides that they would like to receive full services from Animal Services in 2022. So we are looking at here current service levels for the proposed 2022 budget. Now the numbers did go a little bit up from the original numbers that I sent out to you guys. And that is because we were waiting on some final numbers from internal services. The city of Lacey has decided to move forward with some security software that will protect us. And so it ended up getting put into this budget, which drove our IS numbers a little bit higher than we were originally anticipating. But in the end, this will be better because our cybersecurity will be more tight, and that includes the cybersecurity for Animal Services. So total budget that we are looking at for next year is $2,455,765. After each of the jurisdictional assessments and your different allocations for direct as well as shared revenues, total contributions are brought down for individual assessments, with the county being at 689, almost 690 total. Olympia is at a little over 310. The city of Lacey is at 316, almost 317, excuse me. And then city of Tumwater is rounding up to 148,000. As you notice, this is a very nominal change over last year. With the largest increases, being really percentage wise for the city of Lacey, and that was due to their population growth this year. So they are now, a little bit more ahead. They were also a little bit lower in some of the direct revenue participation. And so that did affect the assessment for 2022. Do we have any questions currently about what everybody is seeing?
I do have a question. I'm wondering why Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater's assessments are larger when all that's changed between the two is you've increased the services for Thurston County.
No, this is the at current service levels. So
I'm looking at the other one. I'm
okay,
looking at the full service one.
I haven't
sent
gone
us
to
out
that
earlier.
one yet. I
Okay.
know I haven't gone to that one yet though. Doug,
Okay.
do we have any, when we get to that one, do we have any questions about the current service levels?
I saw Michael's hand go up.
Well, I this is probably going to be answered by the next slide maybe, but I guess my question was just if we're still, if I recall, we sort of made this commitment to try to wean ourselves off of using reserves, which would, sort of result in some slow ramped up or stair-stepped increases for the assessments. I guess my question is if this keeps us on that path, or if it's only a 1% increase, does that mean that we are sort of taking a pause, or what that looks like?
Thanks for asking, Michael. As a matter of fact, we are still on course. We reduced the reserve contribution by our promised 70K. So we are only using 140,000 of reserves this year to, in addition to the budget. Where some of the savings are is we do have newer staff. And so that has played a contribution as far as salary wise. We have also brought in an additional contract with Yelm. So that additional 45,000, as well as we were able to increase some of our revenue projections along with donations and some of those that were also able to help kind of level those numbers off a bit. And so it was a direct savings with staff, but then as well as like revenue coming in that was able to offset some of those.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Only a quick thing, because I didn't get it soon enough. I have not talked to Scott or Troy, and my assumption, this is, Lacey's comfortable with this? Yes, okay. I think you would have let me know ahead of time if you weren't, but I just wanted to double check.
I know
Deputy Mayor,
Olympia
this
is happy. So go ahead. Sorry, Shannon.
I was just going to say, Deputy Mayor Pratt, this has been reviewed by both the city manager and Troy Wu.
Right, okay.
If there are no further questions on this budget, we can move to the next one, and then I will be able to answer Doug's question because it'll be in the explanation about why everybody's cost point goes up. Okay, so looking at the 2022 proposed budget for full services for the county, you will see the increase is largely with the county, and one of the reasons for that is that normal calculation of field operations has been only 1/3 of field operations budget. And so when they actually rejoin the calculation, which is a per capita basis, it does shift some of those costs over to them. Now, part of the reason why there's also an increase is increased calls in the county require increased staffing, but it also allows for all the jurisdictions with increased staffing to benefit with that. So we would have, instead of 4 field officers, we would have 6 servicing Thurston County and the jurisdictions. We would also be able to go back to being on call after hours for emergency purposes, as well as being able to, this accounts for our 0.75 front desk staff to become full-time to help with increased call numbers. This is also including equipment and training for the 2 new staff members, as well as a vehicle. And those are the total costs, but since it's not just Thurston County that will see the benefits of increased staffing, the cost is across the board on what that would look like. And so everybody does have an increased percentage for that, but it's because services would expand and it would benefit the entire county, not just unincorporated Thurston County.
Thank you. That's a good explanation.
That was good. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Fantastic.
I just maybe one for Carolina. Where do you think the county commission's sitting with this and the sheriff's department? Do you have any idea, or do you want to report back at another meeting?
Well, I was able to get a letter from Sheriff Snaza in support of this, so that's in the file. We did start budget talking about budgets today, so we had a presentation from the auditor and treasurer, so it's going to be going on throughout the month, and we will be going into budget deliberations the last week of October. So I'm not sure where we're going to land. We only have around $2 million available for policy requests this year, and we have over $13 million of requests from all the offices and departments. So it's just going to depend on where the priorities are for each of the commissioners. I've already outlined that JASCOM is one of my top priorities, so I'll just have to get the other 2 to come on board and support this as well.
Great, thank you.
Next up for discussion, I'm going to exit this screen so I can reshare the document to discuss recruitment for vacant JASCOM appointed positions. And so looking at, again, the veterinarian position, I think we did come to an agreement that the process would be as such that we would solicit and recruit from the WVMA as well as local veterinary clinics. Candidates would need to provide a letter of interest explaining how they could help JAS and JASCOM in their mission, vision, and goals, a CV or resume, and 3 veterinary references outside of their practice. Staff would do first round of interviews and recommend top 2 candidates for JASCOM review. JASCOM and a veterinary consultant would interview top 2 veterinary candidates. And you would at that time choose to appoint a candidate, but please keep in mind, if there are no qualified applicants, JASCOM has the discretion to decline the appointment and reopen the position for applicants. For the Thurston County nonprofit, This was a new one that we created with the revisions of the IGA earlier this year. This is not a mandated position that needs to be filled. It is an optional position, which does mean that there are times that we can put term limits. We can, if there's no qualified applicants, again, we can choose not to fill the position and reopen it. So again, the process would be somewhat of the same as a veterinarian. We would solicit and recruit candidates from local nonprofits with a shared animal interest. They would need to provide a letter expressing how they could help support JAS and JASCOM in their mission, vision, and goals. A resume, 3 professional nonprofit references. Staff would again hold first round of interviews and recommend the top 2 candidates for review. Once you have interviewed those candidates, you could choose to appoint a candidate at that time. And just remember that this is an optional position and we have authority to keep the position vacant, set term limits, reopen it if we don't feel that there was a right fit. Do you guys have any questions or concerns at this time moving forward?
Well, my question is, because we now have heard from Doug that he's no longer going to be with us. How is that in our interlocal agreement with the Thurston County Humane Society? What does that appointment look like? Just because we're going there, and I'm assuming it's nominated from the Humane Society, but who has final oversight and such? I mean, you know, does the board or the commission have to go, yes, thank you, or what?
Can you guys see this? I do actually have the intergovernmental agreement pulled up. And so it does say 1 member selected by Thurston County Humane Society from the membership of its board. And that is, they don't necessarily have a confirmation required from JASCOM as it is written here. But that does bring up a good point. Doug has been our representative for, as he puts it, since the last century. And we haven't had to visit this discussion before in terms of Thurston County Humane Society representative.
I can see how the jurisdictions can just select someone and send them because they're fiscally responsible. I'm just wondering, because whenever I've been selected to be from a group like the Washington State VMA, the board, whoever I'm joining, does the official, at least as the member of this committee. Shannon, I see your hand up.
Yeah, Chair, partially, if you look at the language, it does say 1 member selected by the Thurston County Humane Society from the membership of its board. So this would be at the Thurston County Humane Society's discretion to select a member of its own board for Joint Animal Services Commission.
Okay, I'm just looking at it and thinking of all the other places that I have served, and it's usually the board or commission that finalizes my nomination, not the nominating group. Does that make sense? Unless you're fiscally responsible. Cynthia?
We would have to rechange this if we did that, like we did for other things. So if you want to go down that path, this definitely is very clear how it is. And so if we want to have something else, we would have to change this.
I'll leave it up to the commission to think about, but it's just something that I've just been thinking about, because it does give them, we go through even more of a tight process for the veterinarian, which is mandated, than we do for Thurston County Humane Society. That's just my thought.
We can I mean, you bring up a good question. I don't have a particular answer for you on this, except to go by what's written in the governmental agreement at this time. I guess I would leave it up to JASCOM if they do want to revisit this at a different point. But I mean, we do need to remember that it would include then taking it back to each of the jurisdictions to get re-signed.
Yeah, that might be too much, but it's just something to think about. Cynthia, is your hand back up again?
Yes, it is. So I'm on this nonprofit part, and I realize I gave the okay to it, but I'm wondering, is it clear what shared animal interest is? Or is, I mean, I could see that meaning a lot of broader, I mean, a broader definition. And if it's clear to everyone else, then I won't even question. I just thought I should ask that, even though it made sense when I said okay. So,
Michael?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, I think in terms of, I mean, it's us who's choosing who it is, right? So we can interpret shared animal interest however we want to based on the recruitment, or if we screen someone out. Like if there was a nonprofit out there, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example of something that's animal related that might not be relevant to us.
A circus.
None really comes to mind at the moment. But you know, I think it won't be too difficult for us as a body to be able to weed those out, because we're the ones making the decisions, right, Sarah?
Correct.
good.
So we can interpret that however we want. I'm sort of remembering back to the discussion, and we sort of, I think, left this broad and flexible because we're the body that's going to be selecting the entity that represents the interest on the board. So, you know, whether it's Audubon or Humane or whatever, you know, I think it's sort of incumbent upon us to make sure we have a thorough vetting process of their interest to make sure that it aligns with the mission, vision, and goals of JASCOM.
Okay, any other discussion? I mean, Carolina, I see you.
Oh, I just have the same recollection as Michael, and so I'm not sure. Just
Okay.
No, and I do get your concern, Cynthia, for sure. And I understand even Doug's concern from last meeting as well. But I think with us having, with it being at our discretion, we can make sure that the nonprofit is aligned with, Joint Animal Services and JASCOM's goals and missions and our strategic plan, as far as when we bring them on. And I think if we put too many limits on, the types of nonprofits that can have people nominated, I think we could potentially be missing out on, a very qualified candidate if we put too many stipulations in place, and it becomes a barrier too.
You're fine? Is a thumbs up? You're okay? All right. Okay. I may talk again about the Thurston County Humane Society, and it's no offense meant, Doug, but what if the Humane Society was suddenly the Humane Society to make shoe leather out of all animals, and the Joint Animal Service Commission was stuck with whoever they put? I'm not saying that it would turn that way. It's just that there's no power of the commission to say, like we would for the nonprofit or for the veterinarian for that matter, to be able to say, this person doesn't fit the mission of the Joint Animal Service Commission and the animal shelter. I'm just bringing it up, and we'll chew on it another day. Go ahead, Shannon.
So Chair, partially, I would say in an instance like that, in a hypothetical situation like that, this commission could come back and take a look at that position and whether they wanted to continue to have a representative from a organization that represented those values moving forward.
I'm sorry, I went extreme because I doubt they'll do it, but you never know. And you would just hate to have the commission hands tied. Cynthia.
So the other thing is they only have one vote. They don't override the rest of our votes. So there is that too.
And
Yeah, and
can't
they
vote
don't
on,
vote.
and can't vote on financial issues.
Yeah. Okay, good. I just wanted to air that. I'm good. Anything else? Anything, the director's report?
My director's report was in the consent agenda.
Oh, I was hoping you'd do the happy tales. Did everybody see the happy tales?
I can certainly pull up the happy tales for you. Give me one moment to do so.
Sorry, y'all. But that's
Oh, no, you're
feature.
fine. It was a good happy tale.
How long had she been in the shelter?
She had been with us for a couple of months. So hold on one sec. And so this is Stevie. And so she looks like she's having a darn good time with her new family by the pictures that they sent us. This one on the beach with her is adorable and I love it. And so, yeah, they said she was 2 to 3 years old, very smart, learned her name in 2 days, very expressive, fascinated with the television and the computer, loves to chase a ball and play tug of war, and has boundless energy until it's time to snuggle in the evenings. So that was a lovely happy tale.
We should make that part of our agenda. It's a good way to end our day, don't you think? A little happy dog or a cat tale. I think
Yes.
I will happily amend the agenda for you to do.
Is she what kind of a breed or a crossbreed is she? Do you know?
I mean, she's a mix. I hate to say pity mix since a pit bull is a description, not a breed. But you know, she's a pity mix.
Yeah, okay. Why I asked is I have a friend from way back that for various reasons taking care of my son's dogs that always adopts pit bull or pit bull mixes on purpose because she finds them, well, she's also a very good trainer and the dogs just love her and they turn out to be unbelievably good dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Much better than my son's dogs, which are not pit bulls.
You know, in the vet clinic, they're called pitables because they're pitiful and they like couches.
Yeah.
So, anything else for the good of the order?
I just want to say that I appreciate that I learned something new about animals every meeting.
That's
I
true.
love it.
Like that pit bulls are not a breed. I did not know that.
Yeah.
The more
The
you know.
description of physical attributes, which are like 20 different breeds that fall into that category.
Fascinating.
Yeah, that is.
I can add animal facts onto the agenda.
That'd be a good way to make sure we all end up laughing too. This is good. Okay, anything else for the good of the order?
No, that
All
was
right. It's quick. It's good. I don't mind meetings like that. We will see you all in October. Thank you. And I'm adjourning this meeting.
Goodbye and good luck.
Bye.
Bye, Doug.
Thank
Live
you,
long and
Doug.
prosper.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
Yeah,
Bye.
it's been a long time seeing you. Bye-bye.
We'll miss you.